everyone. So today I want to do a quick video to show you all about Disney Genie, Disney Genie Plus, and individual lightning lanes, because I know there's a lot of confusion on there, and hopefully this will help clarify some of that. So right now I'm in the Walt Disney World My Disney Experience app. It does look a little bit different in the Disneyland app, so for today we're just going to look at Walt Disney World, and I'll do a separate video for you guys with Disneyland a little bit later on. So I'm already logged into the Walt Disney World app. You can see my name on here, so I know I'm logged in. And on the home screen, the very first thing you're going to see is the Disney Genie service. This is the free service that allows you to kind of customize your day, and Disney will help you kind of figure out what's going to work best for you, what rides you should ride on when, things like that. What I'll tell you from my own personal experience, most people don't use it all that much. It's okay, it's not great. A lot of the time it does try to send you off to rides and shows that you might not necessarily want to do, but it is helpful for some things, so we'll talk a little bit about that later on. And then you can also see below that is the Disney Genie Plus service. That is $15 per person per day as of this video, and you do have to purchase it on a daily basis, so you can't pre-purchase it in advance like you used to be able to. So you would go ahead and hit purchase for today in order to purchase it for that day. You want to make sure that you do that before 7 a.m. because you can start booking your Disney Genie Plus selections starting at 7 a.m. that day. So you want to make sure you get that done first and have that all set up ready to go before you have that 7 o'clock roll around for your Genie Plus. You'll also see some updated information as well with regards to the hours for the park, any show times, if there's any virtual queues for Guardians of the Galaxy. We won't go into the virtual queues today, but we maybe will do that on a separate video. And you can also see some other information that Disney wants to share about some of the different rides and attractions that they have going on at that time. So for today, I'm going to go ahead and select View My Day next to Disney Genie service. And here, if you already have anything booked for the day, so for example, if you already have your park pass reservation, which you should, you'll be able to see that available on here. You can see I don't have anything here, so it's not going to let me see anything. You can also click on this Get Started Now option, and that's going to help you pick out which rides you want to go to potentially, what places you might want to eat, and that way you can kind of build this free itinerary for you for the day of where to go. However, where we're going to spend the most of our time is on the tip board, which is right next to the My Day tab. Here's where the most information is going to be. It's going to start off showing as Magic Kingdom Park for today. If you would like to look at a different park, for example, I can go ahead and click Change Park, and I could click on Epcot, Hollywood Studios, or Animal Kingdom as well. I can also purchase Genie Plus right from here if I wanted to. I'd go ahead and select Purchase for today. It'll show you what Disney Genie Plus includes, which not only includes those basically paid fast passes, also known as lightning lanes. It has some cool photo pass lenses that you can use and some audio tails too. And it also goes through some terms and conditions about Genie Plus. With the Genie service, under the tip board, I have attractions and shows, and then I also have a tab for dining. We'll talk about dining in a little bit. So I can scroll through and I can see in alphabetical order the different rides that are available within this park, what their standby lines are, if they're offering Genie Plus or an individual lightning lane, etc. Now, if you went through the My Day option that we just looked at a little bit ago and selected certain rides as the key rides you wanted to go on, those rides will show up at the top of your attractions and shows list instead of it being in the alphabetical order. So you'll see the ones that you picked, and then the rest will all be in alphabetical order. So if I wanted to ride Barnstormer, I can see that the standby line is 5 minutes. I can also see that there's the availability of Disney Genie Plus for a return time of 2:10. The Genie Plus return times are for 1 hour, so I would have from 2:10 to 3:10 in order to come back to the Barnstormer and basically skip the line to get up near the front quicker for Barnstormer. Now, that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense for me because the standby line is only 5 minutes, so I might not use that as my Genie Plus option because 5 minutes is not too long. Now, you can also look at something like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad, for example. The standby line is showing as 25 minutes. However, I can get a Disney Genie Plus for $2.20, which is only 8 minutes away. So if I wanted to go ahead and book that, I can hit Book Experience, and we'd have our Genie Plus available. And again, I could go back to Big Thunder Mountain anytime between 2:20 and 3:20 and be able to kind of skip most of the line to get up near the front faster rather than waiting the now 30 minutes in the standby line. Now, if you don't, what you'll see with Disney Genie Plus is if you have a Genie Plus already booked, you can't typically book another one, with a couple caveats. If you book one right now at 2:12 to have a return time of 6 o'clock tonight, obviously Disney doesn't want me to have to wait until 6 o'clock tonight to have to use that Genie Plus and then try to get another one. So what they allow you to do is if your return time for that Genie Plus is more than 2 hours away, they will allow me in another 2 hours from right now to book another one. So if I book it right now at 2:13 for 6 o'clock return time, at 4:13, I can go ahead and book that other one while I still have that 6 o'clock Genie Plus return time for another ride already booked. So it does help out. That's really nice. If you're park hopping, you can use that to kind of stack up, so to speak, some Genie Plus return times for your next park as available. Or if you're doing, one park in the morning, coming back and having a nice relaxing lunch, hanging out by the pool for the afternoon, taking a little snooze, and then going back to another park later on in the day. You can kind of store those Genie Plus options for later on in the day. Now, one thing with Genie Plus to keep in mind, you cannot select your own return time. So whatever that time is, it's selected. So you can see for Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin, the return time is at 2:15. If I was looking for something closer to 5 o'clock, I can't just choose what time. I would either have to pick the 2:15 time slot and go anytime between 2:15 and 3:15, or I'd have to wait until those times start coming later to the time that I'm looking for to book it. You can also see with some of the rides that it's not showing a lightning lane option, and that's because there just isn't Genie Plus lightning lanes available. Or you'll also see, and if I can find any in here, so for example, Jungle Cruise. Jungle Cruise, all the Genie Plus options have been sold for the day. It's one of the high demand Genie Plus options that are available at Magic Kingdom. So if you see where it says not currently offered, that means that there's no Genie Plus options available to book for the rest of the day. Now, don't fret. Definitely encourage you to keep refreshing your app. People will drop it. People will forget to show up, things like that. So you might happen to catch another one here and there. However, if you've been trying for a little while and you haven't been able to find anything, if you click View Details next to the standby line, you can also see the forecasted wait times throughout the rest of the day. So I can see here at 2 o'clock, it's actually slower than potentially the rest of the day. So even though that wait time is 45 minutes, I might decide to go jump on that wait line now instead of trying to wait for a lightning lane later because I know that the wait times are probably going to get higher as the night goes on. You can see when you click on more details, it also tells you whether or not this is a lightning lanes available option. You can find it on the map. You can also get directions, so if you're not sure where in the park it is, it will help you kind of get your way there. It'll also show any height restrictions, age restrictions, what hours it's going to be available, a little description of the ride. And you can see here, Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is tonight from 7 to 12, so you can see that special ticketed event showing there too. There's also some accessibility information, so I can see for Jungle Cruise, if I was in a wheelchair or an ECV, I could just stay in my wheelchair. I wouldn't have to necessarily get out to get on the ride. So I'm going to scroll down to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because that's a little bit of a different ride. So for each park, there is at least one ride that has what's called an individual lightning lane. And you can see here for Seven Dwarfs, instead of it saying Disney Genie Plus, it says individual lightning lane. It also has a purchase price on there. What that means is this specific ride, and again, one other, basically the most high demand rides, one at each park, is considered a separate ride from the Genie Plus service. So even though you may have paid $15 per person per day for Genie Plus, that other ride, that one ride per park, is going to be separate. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to purchase Genie Plus in order to purchase the individual lightning lane, or vice versa. You could do neither if you wanted to. But if I purchased Disney Genie Plus, I would not be able to choose the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train as part of my $15 per person per day Genie Plus. I would actually have to purchase this individual lightning lane separately for $12 per person. Now, some interesting things with the individual lightning lanes. One is that you can actually select your return time. So it's a little bit different. You can see where it says window starts at 2:20 versus Space Mountain, it just tells you that it's at 2:20. So if I was going to purchase the individual lightning lane for Seven Dwarfs, I could choose what time I wanted to come back from the available options. With the individual lightning lanes, if you've booked it and purchased it for that day, you cannot book it again to ride it again later on in the day. So keep that in mind too. If you have a kiddo that really loves Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, if the standby line is really short, I would ride it on standby first, potentially, and book your individual lightning lane for later on in the night if you want to try to do it more than once. You also cannot purchase more than 2 individual lightning lanes in a day. So if you're park hopping for more than 2 parks and you have 2 different rides that you potentially want to ride on that are individual lightning lanes, you've got to kind of prioritize which ones you're going to want to purchase for that day. Okay, so you can see here that there is definitely some availability, but you can also see that there's some short wait times that are available as well. And it's nice because it does give you some forecasted wait times. So the other thing that I'm going to show is the dining availability. So instead of clicking on attractions and shows, I'm going to go ahead and click on dining under the Disney Genie service. And here it's going to show, again, in alphabetical order, the different restaurants and dining options that are available at that park that you selected. If you used the free Disney Genie service to prioritize those restaurants that you really want to go to, those will show up first, just like it did for the attractions and shows. Here in the dining portion of the app, you can do things like mobile order. So this is similar to if you did a mobile order for, say, Starbucks at home, you placed your order on the app, and then you went and picked it up later on. Kind of the same thing. However, with Disney's version of mobile order, it gives you a specific window of time of when you'd be able to come and pick it up. So, for example, with Casey's Corner, I can see that the next arrival window is from 2:20 to 2:50. Now, you can go ahead and adjust those return time if you wanted to. But it's a super easy way to be able to place your order, say for lunch, for example, if it's a high demand spot like Woody's Lunchbox, for example. So you can see here, this is one, the window that I clicked on isn't available anymore. So now I can kind of scroll through and see, oh, you know what, I think we're going to eat probably today at 3:30. So I'm going to choose the arrival window of 3:30 to 4 o'clock. And it's going to go through the whole menu of all the things that are available at Casey's Corner. And I can go ahead and put those in my cart and pay for them. And then I'll have that all ready for me to pick up whenever my return window is. You'll also be able to see for some of the sit-down restaurants, whether or not they're able to accept any reservations for the day, as well as if they have a walk-up list that's available. So dining reservations are just like you think. You know, if you want to go to Crystal Palace at 5 o'clock, I can go ahead and select make reservation. I can put how many people in my party, and I can go ahead and choose 5 o'clock, and I can see what available times are. So I can see I have 4:45 and 5:15 I could choose 5:15. And it can go ahead and let me know whether or not I can book that. Now, for some of the restaurants, they do require you to actually put in credit card information in case you don't show up. They do charge. Those are for usually the ones like Cinderella's Royal Table, for example, because it is such an expensive restaurant. So just keep that in mind. The other option, again, is the walk-up list. This is really great if you haven't necessarily made reservations for somewhere, like, for example, the Diamond Horseshoe doesn't have any reservations available. But if I wanted to just walk up, I could join the list, and basically it keeps me in line until they're ready to seat me. So this is just like if you were at home at a restaurant, you walked in, they told you it was a 30-minute wait. You put your name down on the list, and they'll call you back in about 30 minutes to let you know that your table's ready. That makes it really nice for those reservations that might be a little bit harder to get. Sometimes they will have walk-up lists available. So you can see that there's a variety of different restaurants that are listed on here. Most of them do have availability day of, except for some of the harder ones to get, like, for example, Cinderella's Royal Table, as well as Be Our Guest. Again, though, keep checking. If you happen to go on there and you see that nothing's available, definitely sometimes people will cancel them at the last minute because of a variety of circumstances, so definitely don't hesitate to keep refreshing the app and seeing if anything shows up for the walk-up list or for dining reservations. I also encourage, if you're looking to mobile order, again, for one of those high-demand restaurants, like I said, Woody's Lunchbox at Hollywood Studios, for example, I would encourage you to do that first thing in the morning for whatever time you want to show up for lunch, because you don't want to look right at 11 o'clock if you want to eat at 11:30 and realize that the next mobile order window isn't until 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So keep that in mind. If you know where you want to eat and you have a time frame of when you want to do it, don't hesitate to put that mobile order in advance so it's ready for you when you want to eat. And again, with My Day, that once you've booked anything on the tip board, whether that be Genie Plus reservations, whether that be individual Lightning Lane purchases for those in-demand rides, any dining reservations, etc., you're going to find those here as well. So hopefully that video was really helpful for you guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to post something in the comments, or you can feel free to find me on Facebook or on Instagram for Magical Memories Travel.